You have the card for Backlash, by all
En
means.
français, yes.
I know there's not much on it at the moment.
Well, we can talk about that real quick. Do you think that more matches needed to be added or anything like that? Which, by the way, we're at 81 people in the chat right now and watching us. So let's see if we can get that to triple digits. So add more people to that. But 5 matches on the card. Do you think that we need to round it out, like maybe a 7 and 8, at least 1 or 2, maybe?
We've seen this trend with Triple H that he goes small cards, but we made the excuse as far as, well, we have 2 elimination chambers or we have 2 rumbles. Fine. I think this one being Backlash and just kind of a run-of-the-mill pay-per-view, I would expect us to get to 6, maybe 7.
Yeah, you get an IC belt match, something like this feels like NXT takeover level.
I don't know what, is kind of happening, because it seems like it was when Triple H, in retrospect, took fully control of creative probably about 6 months ago. It started off with like 6 matches, and then it started to dwindle from there, where I think Elimination Chamber had 4. I think that the Royal Rumble I was there, I can't remember, but I think the Royal Rumble had 4, right? Yeah, it was 2 Rumbles, and then the Universal Championship match and the United States Championship match. So that was 4 as well. I like the theory of quality over quantity. I do like that. I think that's perfect, but sometimes can we get a little bit more, just like a tad? Like, can we get back to the original?
Don't give us 14. Give us like
can we get back to the original 6 Triple H? Like at least that, or 7. I think 5 is I don't know.
Well, and you mentioned like the Rumble, the Chamber, and everything like that. Those are matches where it's going to take a while. It's going to have a good runtime here. I don't know of too many matches here that are going to really have this huge runtime here. And if you're going to do a 3-hour premium live event, that tends to be the average they do now. Like, that sounds like this could be a lot of fluff and a lot of filler, which,
Yeah, we want quality over quantity, and we talked about that with the AEW pay-per-views, where they kind of diminish the value of their pay-per-views by having extra kind of nothing matches. Right. And again, I'm all for booking in a place where you allow your matches to cook. Give Cody and AJ a good amount of time. But with such a deep roster and so much going on the shows, I would argue that, you could have, some title. You have a lot of titles that you could defend on this particular show. It's not hard to get there.
Yeah, Waller and Theory don't have a match on this card. Sammy versus Bronson isn't on this card. Yeah, there's.
Is Sammy going to fight Gable in France? Has that been announced yet?
No. I'm looking at Wikipedia right now, the most reliable of fan-made sources. But yeah, so far we've still just got the 5 matches, and I thought it was Bronson that signed the contract, or am I misremembering things?
No, because he fought Bronson on Monday, did he not?
Oh shit! I thought.
I think he fought Bronson.
I mistook a match for a contract signing. Never mind me. I've had too many head wounds. I'm out here getting hit in the fucking head like Shibata in that trash can.
That's all right. Last night I was convinced that Dante Martin wrestled twice. Convinced.
But so do we want to run through the matches?
Yes.
Okay. So Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, not KJ, Kevin Owens versus the bloodline of Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga.
Ooh, Anthony.
I'm torn. And I've seen like the WWE fans torn as well. But I'm gonna go with Randy Orton and Kevin Owens.
Strategy,
but I'm confused. Can I change it? Never mind.
No, you locked it in. You locked it in.
No, because I just remembered though, it's Tama Tonga's first match, right?
Correct.
So okay, yeah, I'm changing that. It's Solo and Tama Tonga.
No,
I'm changing it, Nick. You're not the boss of me.
This man got a bid in for $1.
Ooh, yeah, no, I'm going Tonga and Solo, and potentially a Jacob Fatu sighting.
Can he get to France? I say that with all due respect. Please don't show up at my doorstep, Mr. Jacob, Mr. Fatu, whatever you want to be called, Mr. Small Werewolf. Don't show up.
If there's a will, there's a way in this world, and when you're, when you have all that money, people find a way to end up in different places. So I don't know. Maybe they make us wait. There's a couple other maybes on this card that we can talk about, but I think that Tama and Solo, we're building the new bloodline here.
Oh, absolutely. This is a clear cut. They pick up the win. Excuse me. It's interesting if Jacob shows up there. I think that there's going to be one big surprise on the show that we can talk about. That I don't know if they're going to do a bunch of other surprises on here. So, and again, legal ramifications. I ain't trying to open up anyone's cases, but yeah. I still think, though, like you said, we're setting up the new bloodline, and they have been the most entertaining thing to watch on SmackDown right now, bar none.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. I like how they've carried the story on past Roman, right? Like we are being entertained without Roman present, and it's only going to be that much better when he does return and get himself involved in this. But there's so many questions around so much of it. Where does Paul really stand? Is Paul really fearful? Is Paul, is somebody like The Rock pulling the strings? I think it's great. I love what they've done with Tama Tonga, where we were just talking about AEW and some of their, swerve situation, their Jay Whites. I mean, Tama Tonga looks like a badass superstar real quick.
Absolutely. And that's the thing that's so interesting with this. If we all wondered of how can they still make the bloodline prevalent and popular and everything post-Roman. And now we've very clearly seen that. Now we've got Solo, Suge Knight, Sikoa, and Tupac Tama Tonga. So
Tupac Tama Tonga.
So 100%, I'm all the way about it. Just let them, and especially it's not them taking on two squash guys or anything like that. Like this is Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. Like even the fact that they did the whole Kevin Owens got his car smashed into and comes out there gushing blood and everything like that. They said PG era can piss off with all of this.
Yeah, absolutely. They did kind of say that, like, okay, we're moving on from the PG era with that whole segment. I've seen the rumors too online. But I think it's gonna be a good showing of Tama Tonga and Solo at Backlash on Saturday.
Yeah, I think it's a good chance to really highlight them. And if they lose this, again, I mean, there is a way they can lose and it'd be okay. But I think if you're going to cement them moving forward, that we need some shit to go down.
Well, he's a gusher. We got a bleeder.
We got a bleeder. Fuck.
Now I still just need to hear Solo say, "I did it for the Rock." I did it for the Roman.
That's what's going to happen. Roman's
or even just shit. Well, no, it'd be Thomas saying, "I did it for the Solo."
Right? No, but what happens is the Rock returns. And it turns out it was him the whole time, and that's where you get.
Well, how do you feel? Side note, side tangent. Sorry, of all the rumors, the talks, the speculations about Dwayne's interactions backstage at WrestleMania of changing, rehearsal times and everything because he showed up late, of all of his Hollywood stuff and everything. Y'all haven't heard any of these antics that have been talked about?
No.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, there's been a lot of anti-Dwayne chatter going on about that he's showing up, when he was on movie set, showed up 8 hours late and everything like that, and just still acting like he holds court. I guess there were people saying that he was trying to change around, rehearsal times for WrestleMania because he showed up late and everything. I think it's all just hate the guy that's at top, but yeah.
It is what it is.
I mean, that wouldn't, I don't want to dive too deep into it, but that wouldn't make sense if just a couple of years ago The Rock was upset, which I believe this was a true story, with Vin Diesel for coming in late and trying to change the filming schedule. So what they're trying to perpetuate now doesn't make sense.
To me, well, it's more of, like I said, seems like people are trying to stoke the flames of like how there was the Vin Diesel Dwayne beef and everything like that. Now that he's showing up at the hot time in WWE, that he's stirring up backstage controversies and everything. It's just he's popular, he showed up, so let's just make him look like an asshole.
It's probably the AEW tribalist starting that. So
yeah, it's a lot of that internal, like, we'll report it like a real story, and then people will believe it. So let's run.
Right.
But that all being said, what other matches do we got on Backlash, sir?
Sorry, we got the Kabuki Warriors of Asuka and Kairi Sane defending the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships against Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. And obvious pick.
Is it obvious? Yeah, it feels obvious.
I think it's
how they gonna lose.
I think it's obvious. I think it's Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. I do think this will be the coming of age party or match for Jade Cargill. I think that's going to be the match where she is going to be able to show her true abilities and what she has learned at the Performance Center over the past 8 months. I think she's been signed. I think this match is going to be that match for her.
We put out a clip of them, like her and Bianca working on tandem offense. Like, I mean, you see them working over in Italy. I think, and again, it's a perfect setup. She's working with somebody who's a great talent in Belair. I think this gives them a lot of runway to kind of get her into that ring more consistently. And then we get the inevitable boot to the face, and we get heel Jade, and we move forward. We're good to go.
And still, heel Jade versus Bianca is going to cook, because that's top star versus top star. Like, that's the thing, is Bianca is one of the top 2, top 3 in the WWE Women's Division, period. So,
yeah.
But yeah, this clearly has to be them winning this title. I agree with you, Anthony. If this could be very much a show up and show out, because that's what the show is about moment for Jade. I don't think it really should be Bianca does 95% of the moves, and then Jade just comes in, does one glam slam and 1, 2, 3. But do you feel, and side tangent again, of this match or any other matches tonight or on the card, have any effect or weight bearing on the potential trades that we've heard talked about with the WWE draft or anything like that?
Yeah, it was definitely something I wanted to get your opinions on, as far as they're doing exactly kind of what I was hoping for. Is like, the draft was the draft, and we can debate later, whether it should be a thing or not. But the fact that now there could be trades, there's going to be free agents, I like it a lot.
Shouldn't they have done the trades just in the draft, though, like that fast?
No.
Well, I think they've traded outside of the draft before.
Right, yeah, I understand that, but like a week after or so, like, you could have
a month after. It's like any other sport. Not all the trades are done at the draft, like any other sport. I know Buffalo has a weird trade.
No, hey, we're not talking about that. Don't get me into that, because that'll be another 3 hours here. I'm saying about, if you were going to do, and we can probably save this for should the draft exist conversation, but if you were going to do trades this close after the draft, should you have not just made those picks during the draft type of thing? It's one of those, you knew what you were going to do.
No. The only thing I can think of, and I kind of agree with KJ with saying no. The only thing I can muster up in my mind to think of is if Triple H wanted to keep certain storylines in line, and I'm going to use Jey Uso as an example. If Jey Uso was traded after his match with Damian Priest on Saturday, I would totally be okay with that. But if you did it before, then it's like, oh, Jay is obviously losing at Backlash.
I'll give you that. That's the loophole in my argument and everything like that. That's one of those, if you do a trade like that or you draft somebody like that, then you give away pretty much a result before a match happens. So I'll give you that.
Yeah, no, I mean, and again, because the draft doesn't kick in until after Backlash, I think for me, and nobody's saying like we're going to make a trade this week. I think the fact that they're alluding to there's going to be trades, and it's like anything else. There's trades that happen leading into the draft, trades happen after a draft. Yeah, if we were to find out 2 weeks from now, 2 people were switched, yeah, I got no problem with that. I think that's very real to a lot of sports, of like, oh, we got a guy in the draft, now we can free up someone else. So we can make a move here. And again, if it's a better fit, I'm all for it. I like it. Anything like the free agency or the trades, I think makes this exciting, makes it feel legitimate, and I hope they stick to it.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Like a couple weeks down the road, I heard stuff that they were going to do trades before Monday, even. So it's one of those of, I think, like Anthony kind of said there, of like if Jey Uso was about to get traded or anything like that, that you're not going to do that ahead of time because that'll give away a result. So I'll concede that point. But yeah, I can see very much if you do this a month down the road, 2 months down the road or whatever, and you actually get trades and all of that and everything. Fully fine with it. To me, it's this close to the draft that I was like,
yeah. But think about it this way, Nick. If I wanted to pick a person and you happen to pick them before me, I wanted Carmelo Hayes. You took him in the first round. I was shocked, but I managed to scoop up another person that I took before you. Are we able to kind of finagle two players to kind of get what we wanted out of that? Yeah, I mean, I think to me that doesn't sound far-fetched, especially when you only have two teams on the field.
Fair enough. I'll go back into our draft and everything. I'll trade you Dom for Tiffy. Do you accept the deal?
Ooh, you're gonna have to throw in more than just Dom.
No.
Kevin Owens was traded for Jey Uso much after the draft last year. Yeah, that was way after the draft, and that was like the only trade we got really of the year. Do we remember any other trades?
And they just stopped caring about the draft, so the trades didn't matter.
I see Bianca turning on Jade before Jade does. Could Bianca be but I think Jade's a better heel. I don't know.
Jade was kind of teasing a heel turn before Jade showed up.
Yeah, she was. A lot of it was worth talking about it.
Yeah.
Right. Jade and Bianca might be the stars those tag belts need.
Facts. Can't deny that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt at all. What's the next match?
Go
ahead.
You see champions traded because they were locked up or whatever. Could you see Sammy gets traded, what have you, for Logan Paul because we had the Logan Paul Braun Strowman interaction?
Maybe. I think that's cool.
I think that could be very well happening.
Speaking of champions, the next match, Bayley defending the WWE Women's Championship versus Naomi and Tiffany Stratton. And I got to go with my brain, not my heart here.
Yeah, just 1 second on this, though. I just want to quickly say, I know we're not talking to the chat a whole lot here tonight. We're kind of going back and forth, but we are clicking on your chat messages. We thank the almost 80 people for being here. Make sure you watch all of our stuff. We are back tomorrow for SmackDown. We have Brunch with the Boys Saturday morning. We got so much going on here at the channel, so don't forget that. Plus TNA Under Siege, so we're doing a double bill tomorrow night. But definitely get in that chat. Let us know what you guys think about the WWE draft. Anything we're talking about. If there's something you want us to talk about, get in there, and we'll see if we click it. Back to you, sir.
Me? I was done. I set it up to you guys. I said I was not going to pick. I was going to pick one with my brain, not my heart. I was going to let y'all pick, and
all right. Okay. Anthony, who are you taking then?
I want to take Naomi, but it's obviously
you gotta be like me. You gotta pick with your brain, not your heart.
It's obviously gonna be Bayley, but I do want to say everybody has quieted down with the why are we not booking Naomi better since all of this happened about 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. Like, that's what I meant by giving it time. I think that's what you meant, Nick, by giving it time. Same as you, KJ. Everybody has been silent. You can't just thrust somebody in a picture when storylines are already going on. So just wanted to point that out. But Bayley retains at Backlash.
Yeah, I don't see Bayley losing the belt for quite a while. Could they surprise us? They're probably not going to surprise us. I'm going to go Tiffany just for fun.
Fuck you. Fuck you. There is so much with every ounce of my fiber in my being that I wanted to take Tiffany Stratton to win this match, but I know it's going to be Bayley. I want Tiffany, and I think it's crazy, and it speaks to her talent of how fast she's risen up the fucking women's division. And for whatever reason, she gets super over in the UK or in Europe, like when they were over there.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that was Australia.
Australia.
For Elimination Chamber. So overseas, international. There we go. But I'm waiting for the Tiffany Stratton pop in France and everything like that, but I'm still gonna go with the hey baby. So yeah, she's got to retain. She's too new into this title reign. She's over. She makes the belt look great. She's super talented. It's got to be Bayley. But this is a great statement that this is what the SmackDown's women's division kind of holds.
Yeah, they got a lot of talent. We were just talking about Jade and Bianca. You know, even on the other side of it, the Kabuki Warriors are no slouches in their own right. In addition to that, I'm pretty confident that Bayley's going to win this. But if you wanted to kind of surprise us and have Tiffany steal one, maybe run around with the belt for a few weeks.
Oh my God! Someone have 9-1 already in your phone that early in the afternoon. Though, if Tiffany Stratton wins, well, that's the thing. It'll be a twofold there. If Naomi wins, someone check on Anthony. If Tiffany wins, someone check up on me.
Right?
I actually like that idea, KJ. You could have, since it's triple threat and it's triple threat rules, you can have Bayley lose by not taking the pin. Naomi takes the pin, and then for a couple of weeks, you have her running around with the women's championship, and then Bayley takes it back, you know, at the next pay-per-view, which I think is King and Queen of the Ring.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can definitely have that there.
Oh. In France, my heart beats still. You're writing, you know, my own love story out there of Tiffany walking around the women's champion out here.
Right. Yeah, I think it'll be just a kind of a fun surprise, a fun pop. Especially like you said, if the international crowd really gets behind Tiffy time, man, she was a star in Australia. Like it's got to be tempting for them. And I know they don't want to push her too hard, too fast, but it's hard to resist, ain't it?
Right. The heartbeat's still here.
I think this is where a mid-card title could be used. Like this is the discussion we're having is perfect for a mid-card title to be used because you can put Tiffany Stratton in that position. I feel like.
Do you think though that NXT is doing it as the guinea pig?
I do think so.
Yeah.
I think they're the guinea pig of let's see if we can make this work. And that's even part of why Mitchin's there and all of that, because she would be in the same contention if it was on the main roster, I feel. So this is the litmus test. Let's see if we can make this work here before we try and do it there and fumble it on a bigger stage.
Right. Yeah. And if the Undertaker says they need to do it, then it's factual.
That's because he just wants his wife to come back and have one run with it. Michelle McCool.
Bayley wins at Backlash, faces Nia, King and Queen of the Ring. What if Tiffany does not win this, but she wins Queen of the Ring?
I'm happy either way. Like that's the thing. We are in the summer of Tiffany. I will say that right now. We've had the summer of Punk. We are in the summer of Tiffany. Either she's coming out women's champion, Queen of the Ring, or Money in the Bank briefcase holder. We are in the summer of Tiffany.
I feel like
we are in the summer of Epiphany, so embrace that shit.
I feel like if it's done right and they have some type of build after she wins it, I think go for it. I mean, I know previous King and Queen of the Ring tournaments, it didn't turn out very well. But if they do it right, and I think it'll be done right with Triple H, yeah, give it to Tiffany, let her run with it.
Now, as I see this we need the pink briefcase. Would you rather do Queen of the Ring or Money in the Bank? Because she'd be insufferable either way, and I love every second of it.
I think for me, Money in the Bank is held for Miss Chelsea Green.
Ooh.
Chelsea Green, Money in the Bank. You didn't pick Naomi?
No, I don't think Naomi needs
the He's not about to Chelsea Green's not about
the title.
NXT champion.
She can do that on her own. I think Chelsea Green can be held for the Money in the Bank.
Yeah. That's interesting.
I could see Chelsea as Queen of the Ring, or I mean, shit, she might be NXT Women's Champion when she takes on Roxanne.
I don't know about that. I'm not sure.
No, I ain't having none of that shit.
I don't know about that. I'm not sure yet, but And again, I wonder if we could potentially see some mix up still for NXT and who's coming and going there, who's going up. Like I thought Vici was going there for sure. And apparently he's going to SmackDown instead.
Well, we can talk about that, or
Oh yeah, we got
talk about it now. Well, no, if we want to talk about it now, why there was nobody that got selected to NXT from the main roster or anything like that, because they were saying it would have felt like a quote unquote demotion, etc.
Yeah, I think they've done better at making it feel less like that as of late. No.
If you want to treat them true as a third brand, then they should have been having draft picks. Like I thought going into the WWE draft that they would have had draft picks.
Yeah, I just thought, I mean, again, I see why they didn't. I think it's tricky to pull it off because then they end up with me. Like my NXT had CM Punk.
Yeah, but then they have first pick of the free agent pool and everything like that. Like that's the thing, is one of those that you do the snake around with it there. So you got first pick of the fucking supplemental shit.
Fair enough.
Fair. I think it's technically hard for them to have NXT be a third brand when it's always NXT call-ups and not actual, like I think you just mentioned it being in the draft. I think you can't categorize NXT being a third brand if it's not a fully affected draft between all three brands. I've always kind of felt that way. I think it has the power to be a third brand, but still being developmental because it's always called call-ups or going to the main roster. It's not, if it was going to be its own brand, it's a part of the main roster already.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, realistically.
Yeah, that's a really great way to put that, because that's the thing, is I didn't even really take into account how it's always just spoken about of it's a call up, there's the main roster and then there's NXT. Like there is that weird hybrid because it is still a developmental, but it is so good at times and everything that it does kind of warrant that distinction as a third brand. So it has to do that weird tippy toe dance.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But we do have a couple more matches.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
So, Damian Priest versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Damn. Jey Uso.
I thought that too. So, damn you.
I would love Jey Uso to win, and I feel like with him being drafted to Monday Night Raw, still separate from the bloodline, I think they're running with this main event Jey Uso. So I would like for him to win, but it's that same thing with Bailey. Like, is it too early for Damian Priest to lose? So I'm gonna be safe. I'm gonna be safe and take Damian Priest.
Fuck it. I'm gonna say it because I want to speak it into existence, because this man at least deserves a singles title of some substance or anything like that. And besides, Roman's probably not showing up till SummerSlam anyways, so you can have at least a 2 to 3 week one, like you were talking about with Tiffany. Jey Uso's winning this. God damn it! I want to eat all over this shit.
All over the place. Go ahead.
No, I just said pause. I think Jey Uso at least needs to have a singles run with a title, especially being main event Jey Uso. And I don't know if we're going to do the IC title. Do you trade him to SmackDown and he gets a US title run, or if we even flip-flop those around? Like, he needs at least a title run, I think, to solidify main event Jey Uso.
I think that a couple things could happen here. One, I think Jey could get screwed by the bloodline. Again, which pulls him back into that scenario. And there Damian gets off. The other way I could see this going is because of the issues in Judgment Day, is this the moment where like Finn and JD and Dom turn on Damian, and Damian loses because of them? They go on to have a feud for a while, and we get a new champion. Jey finally gets to be truly main event Jey.
And I kind of dig them having the world title, because it's kind of one of those of it really kind of puts him on a different level and everything. And especially if we're going to get, Roman, Jimmy, and Jey all bonding together and everything, well, it kind of shows like Jay's elevated to here, and I mean, Jimmy, you're doing stuff too, but Roman's back too. I want him to have that moment of solidifying main event Jey Uso.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Meanwhile, anyone want to talk about how they caught Liv and Dom in like not only 4K but like 8K?
Right.
Like we caught you in full high def, my guy.
I think that's where Liv Morgan said she wanted to take everything away from Rhea Ripley. Yeah. I think that's the start of it, with potentially pulling Dom away from Rhea Ripley. And I like how they do it. I like how they did it. It's somewhat during a promo and somewhat like surveillance footage of like the show cheating. Of them coming out of one room and then the other one coming out the other room. But I like
how do you know each other? How do you know each other?
We got you here.
We just friends. No,
I was just telling her no the whole time. I swear. I was just saying no.
She slipped, fell, landed.
You gotta catch you. But she caught me on the camera. Wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
Caught you during the promo. Wasn't me.
Now with that, I think I like it because realistically, when Rhea returns, let's say Liv does have that belt when Rhea gets back, everyone expects Rhea to beat this woman off, from pillar to post. Like, it's going to be a rough night for Liv Morgan. Well, how do you help Liv Morgan save that title? Dom.
Right.
Is that not a match that's happening? I thought they had almost halfway announced Liv versus Becky at Backlash, or at least they had announced that they were having a world title match, I believe. Like, that's a match I feel should be added to Backlash.
We could. One match. Wait, what?
Liv versus Becky for the Women's World Championship.
Yeah, I don't know why that hasn't been announced or is not a part of the festivities.
Yeah, I was gonna say, could that be to where we squash the, Becky Hogan, speculation, everything like that, and then Liv gets her coronation for all the smarts, the marks, and the thoughts and everything like that in the Sims, to where she's world champion.
Do they save that for Saudi?
No, you don't do that in Saudi.
Why not?
Women's wrestling in Saudi still not a big thing.
But they've been doing it. I mean, like, they've had.
I know, but you do that with the ho-ho, with the Francais, with the, je suis un chocolat, all of that.
I think after the fiasco with Kairi Sane coming back last year during one of the Saudi shows and nobody cheering or saying anything, I think they need to save all their big moments off of the Saudi shows.
Valid. Fair enough.
Yeah, no big women's moments on the Saudi shows.
Just trying to be a little progressive here.
Hey, we're going to move along from that. We're going to move along.
Main event.
So, main event of Backlash en Francais, Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles for the undisputed WWE Championship.
I don't think we have to answer this question.
Yeah, I
Cody
think
Rhodes.
AJ Styles. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, Cody Rhodes. Absolutely.
Good brothers help AJ Styles. Dun dun dun.
Match of the night, though. I will ask you match of the night.
I'm technically a little scared to say that. Only the reason why is past AJ Styles matches that were supposed to be potentially the match of the night didn't live up to it being the match of the night. But since it's Cody, exactly. Since it's Cody Rhodes, I'm gonna say it's potentially probably the match of the night on the card.
Yeah. You know what? I hope Jey Uso and Damian are the match of the night. Jey needs a big match. His rivalry with his brother at Mania didn't really go as we had hoped. So yeah, I think give it time. I think we have to. I'm hoping these guys show up and show out, especially for both of them. I'm a big fan of both.
If Jey wins, I could see like what you were saying of that being match of the night. But if I had to be a betting man on this, Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles, needs to, should be, could be, would be match of the night. 100%. These are two guys that, again, like we talked about, even with the Ospreay Danielson match, of it's going to be a great match. All you have to do is just have them signed under your fucking roster at the same time and just let them go.
Yeah, I mean, it should cook. I mean, these are two vets, guys, that know each other, very well. And we talked about it. The story is real cool as far as AJ fighting, Dusty back in the day. I think yeah. I mean, again, if this is the match of the night, it won't shock me. I'm just hoping like something out of the mid card surprises me, because especially if it stays such a small card, we're going to need some support for Cody and AJ to carry this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
The Tonga match, hopefully. Maybe the Tonga match is really good.
Maybe. Well, I think that there could be a moment that will outshine any match, that will outshine anything on this card that could happen. Do you think we get Uncle Howdy showing up in en français?
Feel like the writing's on the wall, literally.
Yeah, but how do they do it then? What, does he come out and they attack Cody? Like, where do you have them showing up or whatever? Like, when do you do that moment? Everything.
I think Triple H is a fan of rolling those credits, thinking that the show is over, and then pulling the surprise. They did it with Bray Wyatt. They did it with CM Punk. They did it with I feel like they did it one other time too.
Well, they just did it with Chad Gable and Sammy, right?
Right. Chad Gable and Sammy. I think that's how you pull it this time. Do it the same way, and it feels like, and it seems like it's not getting old, because it surprises fans every time. We're thinking the show goes off, and then boom, something else happens. I think we do it the same way at Backlash.
So vignette, they show up in the ring, they attack somebody. How you doing it at the end of the show?
I don't know if they don't necessarily have to attack someone. If we remember when Bray originally came back and he had like the puppets up in the in the corridors,
Right.
and they were spotlighting them. I mean, it could be something very similar to that. Just they all appear. Cody waves goodbye, he like walks down the ramp, waves goodbye, and then everything goes out and the lights come back on and they're in the ring. I don't know. I don't necessarily like when you said like the idea that they show up and beat the shit out of Cody makes me extremely nervous, because if you're gonna push right at Cody can't survive.
Like I said, I was just throwing out ideas out here of
No,
like
yeah.
what else, of how do they do it, because I have my own idea, and I could see like what you said, if they do it like when Bray came back with the Uncle Howdy and everything like that, to where you had all the we thought it was the Wyatt Six, to where you had all the puppets come to life sitting there, and the crowd and everything like that. I think you get the post ends credit scene and everything like that. You cut to black, or you get a glitch and everything like that, and then you get Bo, and he takes off the Uncle Howdy mask. We're here, and then you cut off like that, and you just leave it as the ultimate kind of cliffhanger, deleted scene, after credits shit. And it's that little payback to, or callback to, Bray.
I think, and this is something I literally just came up with. End of the show.
What we do here.
End of the show, lights go out. I'm taking your idea of a little glitch.
Right.
When the lights come back on, it's Alexa Bliss holding the Lily doll laughing. The lights go out again. Alexa Bliss leaves. This time it's Eric Rowan. Lights go out again. It's Uncle Howdy.
Mm-hmm.
Then last time the lights go out and they come back, it's all three of them standing in the ring.
Not bad. I'd take that. And again, I think if I was able to, that's why I'm a little unsure about Backlash, because I kind of want them to come in like a wrecking ball. Like I want them to like that Nexus style of like they're here and they just decimate everything. They beat up Michael Cole, they fuck up the tables, they pull the ring apart. Like I want them to make an impact. I want them to be prominent and strong right out of the gate. And I don't know if this card lends to that. So I think like a post main event teaser's probably, gonna work the best.
I like them being it that way, of you do like a post-credit scene like we've talked about of, you know, the lower thirds pulled up and everything like that, and you just get like the little glitch and all that and everything, because we've seen teases on it on Raw, we've seen teases on it on SmackDown, we've even seen it teases on NXT at this point. So we don't know if, when, where, or how they're going to show up. So I like if you at least scratch that itch enough that you acknowledge that, say it's Bo. Just have Bo out there, he takes off the mask, and you don't know shit for shit about anything else. And then you can still go back to the glitches. Like, you feed it enough to where, oh, I got to make sure I tune into Monday Night Raw because they could show up there. And, oh, we got a tease that sends us to fucking SmackDown, what have you.
Yeah, no, I think, and they've been very good at teasing. And I think that the story has lent well for it. I think at the end of the day, we're not going to, it's going to be breadcrumbs. We're not going to get the whole kit and caboodle right out of the gate. It might just be howdy. Like you said, I think even if you just switch it up a little and it's Alexa in the ring, the lights come on and she's holding the lantern, like to go back off. Like there's little things you can play with this, but I do think we've seen with this regime, they're very patient and they will piss off a portion of the fans that can't wait for the answer.
And I love that about this regime of how things are very slow and methodical and things are drawn out. I love that. And I love how it pisses everybody off in the wrestling community because we're a part of this microwave society. So
hey, it's the opposite of, you know, another 3-letter promotion and everything like that. That's just still flying by the seat of their pants or their neck brace. But yeah, it's very much everything seems calculated and has a plan that's pinned out 2 or 3 months down the line versus we're doing this. Like, even all of the kind of teases and everything that we've gotten so far have still not given any sort of an end game and end point. Like, we're literally guessing that they'll show up in Backlash because they showed up. You pointed out in our group chat of with the fucking Statue of Liberty standing on top of a fucking pyramid, and well, it was a gift from France. So that's the thing, is it takes me back to with your White Rabbit stuff, and now it's just the reverse of that.
Exactly. Yeah. And it really, you know, going back to the point of how things are kind of drawn out with this regime, for that unaired WrestleMania documentary that hasn't came out yet.
Shit, I forgot that hasn't come out.
One of the teasers, Triple H had said that 80 to 85% of the WrestleMania card was locked in October. That's how planned out that they have this stuff. And that's what I like. And I think that's going to be the same thing with like Uncle Howdy and, you know, everybody else involved.
No, absolutely. Now, did we want to actually 2 questions? First and foremost, Cena and Charlotte spotted in France. Everyone's saying, ooh la la. But I, you know, again, could it just be promotionally? We don't believe that Charlotte's ready to go. Cena could make an appearance, come out, do like what he did in, you know, when he just came out in London and just gave a promo and left again.
We're gonna bring a WrestleMania here in all France. Hey,
right?
No, I think that is just like the promotional beforehand and everything. Because I can't remember the last time, in my lifetime, off the top of my head, that they've run a premium live event out of France. So we talk about WWE going global and everything like that. Like, I know all of us have a certain vintage and everything. They did, you know, SummerSlam from in the UK and all of that. They've done, you know, certain little kind of one-off pay-per-views overseas, but now with them doing this many shows overseas, I think it's just now we're going to really just spread that market. We're going to have our goodwill ambassadors show up and just, you know, shaking hands and kissing babies.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's more promotional work. If Charlotte does return, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be very not shocked because of how her recovery has gone. Like, I think this woman was running on her knee the other day. I think there was a video out there of her running.
I think she's just Kryptonian. Or
so like if she does come back at Backlash, I would not be surprised because at this point she's like the female John Cena with recovery.
It's all that woo energy drink and everything.
Right.
The woo energy and the Ric Flair drip has just got her right.
Yeah, no, she's the fucking T1000. Like it's insane. It's just right. But yeah, no, I mean, Backlash is interesting. I will say, I think we talk about this a lot, and we've done this a couple of years now, where the WrestleMania hangover seems to kind of hint, like, maybe hinder some of the hype around Backlash. But we'll see. I mean, it's an early one. We'll see how it goes.
Well, that's the thing. Does this feel like a WrestleMania Backlash? And I know we talked about it the other night. They haven't called it WrestleMania Backlash for a couple of years here, but this very much, feels like, the hangover after WrestleMania here of this is just your kind of get right of let's just patch this over till we get to, the rosters are official. We can build to a serious pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think the WrestleMania hangover, to be honest, is always going to be there because there's no off season, and it's always going to be like, that okay, this is kind of after WrestleMania. We got to kind of push through it until June when we start kind of getting into the SummerSlam, hype, and the Money in the Bank hype. So I think it is always going to be there. I don't think there's really any way you can avoid it.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting because we're following this up with a Saudi show. So again, we get a lot of sizzle, not a lot of steak with the Saudi show most times. So if Backlash is a little bit average, head into that. We don't get a whole lot of going on there. We're building the SummerSlam, folks.
I think there'll be more excitement for the King and Queen of the Ring than there is for this.
Fair enough.
Even though it is a Saudi show, like I know Saudi shows are Saudi shows. But I think that there'll be more of a hype for King and Queen of the Ring, especially with they've kind of teased of who they're going to have in that field. And I think they're going to put some more prominent figures in that field.